Hi, everybody. Well, today is Sunday, October, you know what the date is today? October 15th of 2023. And I'm here on a Sunday morning for another catch up with Mayo live. And anybody who's catching this on a replay, because there's nobody here yet to watch me live, I don't think. Well, there was 12 people here, just like that. Okay, well, anyway, next time when I do one of these, it's going to be at home in my Beatles and records and horror room. It's going to be on familiar, comfortable turf, and it's going to be this coming Saturday, the 21st, so Saturday afternoon sometime. So look out for the next one of these after this, next Saturday, the 21st, in the afternoon time, Eastern. All right, so what's going on, folks? I see Nicholas is here. Hopefully I'm coming through. Let me just make sure because you don't always know if you're live, but you don't know if the sound is coming through okay and everybody can hear you, stuff like that. And people let you know. So I'm here. Uh, I don't really care to be here. This is the classroom I have to go in every now and then on a Sunday morning. I have to be here, and I make the best of it by doing these live streams here while I'm waiting. So as soon as we get some comments, we can go on. And you probably noticed I've been doing a lot of surprise live streams. I've been doing some. Hello, Mike. Hello, Harold. Nicholas. I've been doing some Mayo Lounge sessions. So, hello, Stephen. I'm Stephen from Scotland. And yeah, so here I am. It's kind of cold in here. You see, I got the sweatshirt with the hood on. The temperature is not bad today, and it's not really cold yet. It's only the 15th of October. However, it is chilly in here, and it's fine. But it's going to be a problem when winter's here because, as you can see over here, I mean, these are windows. There are windows here and screens, and there's the woods back here, wooded area. So it's very, very cool. I mean, nature is right here. So we do have a thermostat in here for a heater. Usually takes a long time for these rooms to heat up, though, when I'm doing them in here winter. Oh, hello, Lila. Hello, back bacon and beer. So, boy, Lila, you must really be lost as far as questions go because I know you never have a finite amount of questions to come up with, but these are the ones when I really need them. The catch up with Mayo Q&As. These are the ones when I really could use questions because otherwise I sit here just doing what I'm doing now, just talking about the temperature, talking about what day of the week it is, and there's no new news to report because I've been doing so many of these live streams, surprise ones, unscheduled, impromptu. So I've been on here a lot, and I've been talking about stuff. So I don't have stuff to talk about, and I'm sorry if the interest wanes for some of you. Just hang out till some of the comments come up. And I appreciate that we have 25 people watching. And it's early on a Sunday morning here, east. But of course, where Lila is in England, it's the afternoon time, right? Okay, how brilliantly haunting sounding is. I'm sorry about this, folks. I always say that with the hand. It's hard to bring up questions from my phone. How brilliantly haunting sounding is ode to Billy Joe, Bobby Gentry. Is it a true story? It's not a true story, but I love that song. It's one of my favorite records, favorite songs of all time. And I like that it kind of should be left up to your imagination as to exactly what's happening. Somewhere on my channel, you have to search for it. I did a tribute just to that one song. I made a whole video about Ode to Billy Joe. Very emotional, heart wrenching. song. It's a masterpiece. Is the bridge famous? The Tallahatchie Bridge? I don't really know. I don't know. I think there is such a bridge, right? I think so. But that's just from the back here in the dim recesses of my memory. Um, I think there might have been, and that it really wasn't that deep a thing. In fact, I mean, there's a movie. The movie came out. There's a movie made of it, song. But I did not like the movie. The excuse they came up with for him killing himself or jumping off the bridge was ridiculous. In my mind, it just the song didn't. The song didn't say anything specific. You had to imagine it and wonder why. And the movie tried to explain it all and make their own reasons up, and I really didn't like that. Okay, Harold says I have to watch some of the movies that you showed on your last DVD find. He's referring to my movie channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It's a movie channel called Mayo's Offbeat Movies. And offbeat means there's a lot of weird stuff like horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult, uh, all kinds of stuff. But that's not all I'm going to do there. Just like on this channel, I don't just talk about the Beatles only, although mostly. So there's other stuff to be found over there. Besides, you'll find comedy, drama, you know, Mayo's Offbeat Movies. And yeah, I recently got an amazing collection that came in. That was somebody sold their collection on Blu-ray, and most of the 99% of them were Blu-ray. A few DVDs in there too. But I wound up buying that collection. Well, a lot of that collection. I didn't get all of it. But hello, Noel. Good to see you here. I'm sorry, it's hard to highlight questions here. You see me, I'm struggling here. There. Do you just go looking for Blu-ray or 4K now? You won't touch the normal releases? I don't care about 4K yet. I mean, I don't really care. I don't think I ever will, but you never say never because I have a 4K television set, but I don't have a 4K player. And I got a closet stocked with 4 or 5 brand new Blu-ray players sealed in the boxes for rainy days. So I'll always have Blu-ray players. But I look for Blu-ray. Blu-ray is my thing. DVDs I try to avoid like the plague. But occasionally there's an item that's not on Blu-ray, so I stick with the DVD. So and in fact, last night I watched a DVD, a standard DVD, and it looked good on my TV. DVDs can look good too. They can be upgraded a little bit by the player you're watching them on. Because I got new comments. Okay. Um, I would like to see a Live in New York box set with 3 CDs of rehearsals. Yeah, the thing is, I don't know what they're going to do because they're talking about John Lennon here, John Lennon Live in New York box set. The Live in New York concert, the Madison Square Garden one-to-one concert that John did in 1972, has been redone, remastered, fixed up, and ready for release, according to Jack Douglas, worked on it. But the problem is, I think because of Woman is the Blank of the World, I think because of that song, they're avoiding all that stuff. And yeah, a shame. I do not have a portable DVD player, no, at the moment. I don't think I need it, really. Okay, what's the story behind the John Lennon diaries? Um, I don't know all the years, but in the late 70s, John apparently recorded diaries, or at least on audio tape. I think there's some in writing too that got stolen by Fred, Fred who worked for John. The less said about him, the better. And but as far as the audio goes, there's obviously audio of John's diary on a day where he was particularly, kind of like down in the dumps and kind of like bored and just like not too thrilled, and he put it on tape. Now, people like to pick on John for that as well, and I think everybody has those kinds of days. Everybody has those kinds of days. The difference is people don't put them on tape. All of you listening to this, me too. We all have our dark moments, our dark days, feelings that John was expressing, you know, but we don't usually put them down. Now, for me personally, I have a series of diary. I kept a journal from 1978 to 2000. So from 1978 to 2000, I have a journal. If you ever read those journals, your head would spin, because what you're doing is you're putting your deepest, darkest feelings down on record for people. So I don't pick on John for having those feelings. John just was more vocal about it. Everybody has those feelings. Paul McCartney has those feelings. There's people that he's jealous of, probably, or down thoughts that he has, Paul or anybody, but they don't put them down on diary. So anyway, I do not plan on going to the Chiller convention. I think the guest list is very uninspiring. The guest list they have, I'm not interested in the guests at Chiller. Nobody there really makes me say, I gotta go to Chiller. I mean, sometimes I go to Chiller, and, I'll go regardless of what the guests are, just have fun. This year, I think I'm gonna skip it. I was just thinking of this morning, listening to Breakfast with the Beatles, and I think there was a recording by Donovan where Donovan said it's amazing how many great Beatles songs there are. He says Donovan says, maybe I have five great songs that everybody knows. He said maybe Eric Clapton has like 20. But the Beatles, they have like hundreds. What is that? Why is that? And he said, um, you know, that definitely, yes, enough for you too. Go fuck yourself. All right, there you go. Anyway, so the thing is that I believe that it's kind of fate. Yeah, I believe it was kind of meant to happen. I believe that. A lot of people don't believe in God. I can't help you with that. Hopefully, there's lots of paths to God, folks who don't believe. I trust yours will not be too difficult. But anyway, be that as it may, it's definitely a matter of things being orchestrated by a higher power. I mean, the thing of the Beatles was magic in my mind. Never will happen again. You know, never. I don't think that stuff will ever happen again. I really don't. And I think it was orchestrated. It was all magical. Everything fell into place. Uh, I believe that. Not everybody does. That's okay. So, thanks everybody for being here. I got counters going up. I appreciate it. I know it's early in the morning here in the East, so I'm just kind of getting it together myself. Uh, I did not know that there was a sequel. Hold on a minute. Yeah. I did not know that there was a sequel to The Car. I, the Car sequel to the 1977 movie The Car. I've not seen it. I have no interest in seeing it. I'm not even that thrilled about The Car, the first one, 1977. Once the Beatles got into Dylan, what songs do you think by them were Dylan influenced? Well, first of all, I'm a Loser by John on Beatles for Sale. It's very Dylan-esque. And also, you've got to Hide Your Love Away on the Help album. That is very Dylan. Inspired, inspired. Excuse me. Need a drink. I'm trying to think of other ones. I don't know. We might have a little noise today. I don't know if you can hear it. There's a classroom next to me doing. That's the problem here when you come here on Sunday mornings. There are other rooms around here. The walls are like this. I still am amazed because these walls, as you can see here, they're like cinder blocks, and you would think that's heavy concrete blocks that you wouldn't hear anything. You can hear every breath, every word. Yeah, that's true. Fourth time around. Is that the song that Dylan think? I don't know. Dylan thought that John ripped him off or something like that. Dylan about hard rain's gonna fall, one of Dylan's greatest songs in my book. It's just a hard rain. It doesn't have double meanings. Okay, hi Lee. Monty Python song "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" has the same chords underneath the melody as Penny Lane. Oh, look on the bright side of life. I think I know that. Oh, there's no update on Bazooka Joe. No, I got to tell you, people mean well. They keep asking me that. Get tired answering it. No offense, but constantly in the comments, update on Bazooka Joe. Update on Bazooka Joe. I know you mean well, but as I've said before, and please let this stick for anybody listening. Um, Joe got a biopsy. He said it was going to be a couple of weeks before he gets the results, so it's going to be a couple of weeks. And when the results come, I will indeed let everybody know, but then again, it depends on Joe himself. Maybe Joe doesn't want people to know. Maybe Joe doesn't want people to, to get give him sympathy or whatever. Sometimes you're in the middle of this. I feel in the middle. You're trying to help somebody out, but when you start spreading the word, um, and again, I feel no offense to you that who wrote that, but it's not you. It's a lot of people asking me the same question. Do I prefer museums or art galleries? Um, I, I guess museums. I like, I like both art galleries and museums. Uh, you think any of the George Harrison movie soundtracks from the '80s will ever be released? I don't care. Whether or not I think it's actually going to happen or not, who knows? Anybody's guess. Don't have an answer to that definitively. By the way, I'm going to remind people that some of you may not know, some of you need a reminder. Tomorrow, Monday, we're going to be doing another Talk More Talk show, and this time we're going to talk about Ringo's new EP, Rewind Forward. So check out our live show. That's over on the Talk More Talk channel right on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't. Talk More Talk. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern, we will discuss the new Ringo EP, the four of us. The Christopher Lee movie that I showed in my last movie video. I think if you're talking about, maybe it was To the Devil a Daughter. Is that the movie I showed? I only saw that once. I remember it being kind of dull, to tell you the truth. I think that's considered the last Hammer film in the '70s. Really, it could be wrong. The Hammer horrors. And I don't remember it being particularly good. That one, but at some point I'll give it another view. And I'll really put it down there in my movie channel reviews. Yeah, I'm glad with the movie channel. I'm glad I kind of found my niche with that. I really decided, because I was going all over the place, what title to give the channel, what subject matter to do. And I say I'm very comfortable. My favorite subjects are horror, science fiction, fantasy, occult, weird movies. And therefore, um, to actually settle on that and focus in on that is a relief for me. But as I say, that doesn't mean it's all I'm going to do. You're going to still find drama, comedy, action, all that stuff too. But it's going to be favoring the offbeat stuff. And Tom, of course, helps me out with this because I don't know Tom. I don't know what movies in particular he's referring to, the George Harrison movies. So I don't know which ones he's talking about. I mean, I'm not even thinking. Are we talking about movies like with Nail and I? Are we talking about stuff like that? I don't know. Soundtrack songs? Because the soundtrack songs are out. I don't know what he's talking about. What's my earliest recollections of going to the cinema? Well, I remember going to a drive-in movies with my little sister or my parents. My parents would have us in the back. We'd have blankets because usually little kids get tired, fall asleep. We'd be in the back. And I saw movies like Herbie the Love Bug, uh, The Green Slime, and Astro Zombies and stuff like that. And in the theater, my earliest movies, I think I saw Help in the movie theater when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I think I remember that. And, I saw movies like in the early '70s, like Willard and The Omega Man, stuff like that. Andromeda Strain, Silent Running. Those are my earliest memories. Yeah, Feeling the Sunlight is a song off Ringo's new EP, and I think it's the best. It's the one that was written by Paul and has a bass that line that could be fixing a hole with a little help from my friends and or Penny Lane. Well, I say the movie The Happening, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, I think is just underrated. I think it's a good science fiction idea. It's a creepy theme to it. And I don't know why people smash the hell out of that. I don't know anybody. That movie's universally disliked. It's very, very rare to find out anybody who likes that movie. Good morning to Jerome. Hello, Jerome. Glad the sun is out because we've had some lousy rain lately. A lot of rain on Saturdays this year. I think somebody said there were 6 or 7 Saturdays in a row with rain. Hello, Peter Boothroyd. Yeah, I'm just not feeling it today, in case you notice. I mean, let's face it, sometimes I'm all like, yeah, what's going on? Fun. Other times, I'm a human being like anybody else today. It's just like, it's like I gotta be here. I don't want to be here. Making the best of it here. But sometimes you just feel, just feel a little more, yeah, not feeling badly per se. Just a little bit like, yeah, I don't know what kind of jacket that is, Lila. Whoa, Harold liked Exorcist Believer. I thought it sucked. But hey, there have been a few people I've heard that like the new Exorcist movie. You're waiting for Deceiver. I personally hope that they decide not to go ahead with it, but here they are. I was hoping that this movie, word of mouth, would be so bad, and maybe that the money that they get would be so disappointingly low that they wouldn't go ahead with the next one. But apparently, by the reports I've heard, they are going to go ahead and do a trilogy. Oh, God help us. And maybe the next one will not be the same director. Maybe they'll switch directors, get rid of that David Gordon Green. Adios, amigo. He's not too good. Yeah, I heard this stuff about Best Buy. Best Buy's going to discontinue DVDs and Blu-ray. They're assholes. They really are. You could start calling Best Buy Bust Buy, Bust. It's a bust. You go to Bust Buy and there's nothing there. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. All this space is like just going to be for like electronics and that's it. You know. Last night's 4-hour marathon has tired you out, Joe, but great fun. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Shanghai Surprise. I mean, the guy didn't ask. Are all the George Harrison songs that he had in the movies out? Like stuff like "I Don't Want to Do It" from Porky's Revenge is out. Shanghai Surprise is a bonus track. Breath Away from Heaven was on Cloud Nine. Yeah, Dream Away from Time Bandits is on Gone Trouble. I don't think that's what he was asking. I think the guy was asking, the soundtracks to the movies, like George Harrison movies. That's what I hear. That's what I understand it as, but I don't know. Well, I definitely never had one of those jackets, Lila. I gotta tell you. Hey, here's Jen Beetle Babe. Walmart's likely next. That's sad because Walmart, still has movies in there, and they're going to do away with it. Yeah, it's a shame, and I still say that. People think that because a lot of these stores don't stock a lot of physical media and stuff, people think physical media is dying. They figure if anybody wanted it, they would stock it. It goes the other way too, don't you think? Like if they decide that they don't want to stock it, they kind of drive people away. You can't go to the store and buy something that they're not offering. You know what I mean? If you don't offer it, they can't buy it. It goes both ways. So I think they're trying to push physical media away more than people not wanting it. Because they still sell millions of billions or whatever it is copies. Look it up, right? Just that you have to order it online. That's all. You know. Oops, sorry. Yeah, Walmart. I've seen LPs in there. I've seen LPs in Walmart, records, vinyl. The future of the Beatles, you think, will be re-released, but trend of colored vinyl. Yeah, colored vinyl is a trend, no doubt about it. It's interesting you should say this with AI becoming big, the Ultimate Horror Movie Reunion, Boris Bella, Lon Jr., Peter Lorre. I just watched an episode of Route 66 from 1962. And it's a Halloween episode that reunites Boris Karloff, Lon Jr., and also Peter Lorre. So it's interesting that you should mention that. I'm going to do a video on that at some point too, this month over at my movie channel. I'm glad we're getting like some movie related stuff here. I always wonder, should I do Q&As over on the movie channel? But you get a lot of people here. So when it's digital, they can arbitrarily delete it out of your library at any point for any reason. You don't get your money back. Amen, Jen. Amen. That's exactly right. People think, oh, I have everything on digital at the touch of my fingertips. Isn't that fun? Oh, forget physical media. Who cares? Yeah. And it's like, I got it right here. Yeah, but when they decide they want to just arbitrarily take it down or they don't want to offer it anymore, it's not going to be some of your favorite movies you won't be able to have access to. Better to own a hard copy, a physical copy. I am at the moment. I am not subscribed to any magazines. No, when I was a kid, I had a few magazine subscriptions. But even then, I used to prefer to buy. I used to like to go to the local candy store or shop where they had the magazines on the shelves. Like when I was into Famous Monsters of Filmland and the Monster Times, Monster magazines. I used to just, or Fangoria. I used to just go to the store every month and buy them off the shelves. I rarely got a subscription. Same thing for Beatle Fan magazine. I used to get Beatle Fan. I had a subscription to Beatle Fan for a while, but I was lucky. We had Tower Records and Tower Video. Tower Records, when it was around, you could just go in Tower Records and there's all the magazines. Buy Beatle Fan at Tower. You didn't have to subscribe. You know. No, well, me too, Harold. That's my favorite things, absolutely. And that's why I have two channels. Don't forget to subscribe. The other channel is what? Mayo's Offbeat Movies. Now I'll mention it again and again. Would I ever go to a Comic Con with Anthony? Would be a cool day out in a video. Anthony is more into the comics thing than I am these days. I thought I was getting back into comics a little bit recently, but I hate new comics. My God, just like I hate new music for the most part. You just look at it, let's put it this way. At least today, there's still some good music. As they say, you have to look for it, but there is good music here and there. Comic books, everything I've seen, I just don't like new ones. But anyway, as far as going to a Comic Con, yeah, I'd go with Anthony, but he's not going to spend a lot. He's going to buy like, look for like the comics that are like $1, $5. It is a good idea for a video, though. I can't deny that. Definitely. Any excuse for an Anthony video. I like I like how people spell it Antny, which is what I do. Anthony. His name's Anthony. But that's what I affectionately call him, Anthony. What's going on, folks? Got more people here now. That's nice. People waking up here a little more in the east, wiping the sleep out of your eyes. Speaking of which, I heard on the Beatles Breakfast with the Beatles show today. I heard the song Good Morning" again. I thought that song's really not very good. I gotta say, I never thought about it. I mean, I've always, don't get me wrong, I like it enough. I can listen to it, but I thought to myself, that is really a weak song. You know, what makes it is the guitar playing and the drumming in it. But the words are just terrible and it's just boring. Oh, excuse me. This is tough, folks. It's tough. Okay, is G Fest or Fangoria still having conventions in Manhattan anymore? I used to go to Fangoria conventions. I don't think Fangoria does not have conventions anymore. We have Chiller is what they have. Uh, and G Fest is G means Godzilla Fest. No, none of that here. Um, Am I a jewelry or watch wearer? Absolutely not. I always have an uncanny knack of time. I've always been able to tell what time it is wherever I am. If I'm someplace, I can tell you how much time has passed. Maybe it's been an hour and a half. Um, I always have an uncanny knack, so I never needed a watch. And these days, I just pick up the phone anyway. The clock is right on the phone, which I have with me all the time. And I don't like jewelry. I don't like rings and all that stuff. Get in the way. I used to have, well, I could see Good Morning being utilized as a wake up call, but as a song, it really is weak to me. And, I never really thought about it much. I always just accepted it. It's on the Sergeant Pepper album. It's a classic. It goes with the flow. But when you think about it, it's like not much of a song. Well, I think that's sad that you skip it when I'm 64. I disagree. I don't skip songs. Very rarely do I skip songs. And if you skip a song, then you're never going to like it. Never going to give it a chance to play. But um, I think it's a brilliant song. It's easy to pick on Paul, for his granny music, but he does it so well. And that particular song is, to me, is a great song. Yeah, so you get woken up by good morning in the morning, right? It's like, wow, it's ding, powerful. Have you seen the Mark Zuckerberg interview in the metaverse? No, Peter, I have not. And I'm okay with that, tell you the truth. Thinking of getting a haircut. I always let my hair grow. I usually go 6 months, at least 6 months before getting a haircut, and it gets long and everything. And now I'm thinking it's harder. It's already getting long in the sense that it's kind of piling up here. I'm starting to want to get it cut. I don't think it's known exactly what's being said on the run out groove of Pepper. Everybody has all kinds of interpretations. I think that's the idea. Yeah, that's the name of that Route 66. What was it? Lizard's Leg and Owlet's Wing or something stupid like that. I'm going to do a little bit of a mini review and video on that. And all I'll say here is that I don't know what the hell that's about, that one. I never watched Route 66, the other episodes. It's a TV series in the 60s. I never watched other episodes, so I don't know what the hell those two guys are doing. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what their theme is, the goal. What is it that the show's about? And the only reason I watched that one episode is because it's got Karloff, Cheney, and Peter Lorre. And I don't care about Peter Lorre, really, to tell you the truth. Peter Lorre has no business being there. It's too bad they didn't get Vincent Price. I mean, the one Vincent Price should have been there instead of Peter Lorre, I think. But he's still funny in it, I guess. Listen, Beetle Babe. There's another TV movie that I'd recommend to you. 1978. Okay, it's called Summer of Fear. Summer of Fear, starring Linda Blair. It's a made-for-TV movie. The idea is that she has a cousin staying with her over at the house, comes to stay with them for a while, and the cousin is a witch, and that's the idea of it. It was directed by Wes Craven, who did Nightmare on Elm Street years later. Oh, I did comment on it. Jesus, I commented on it. Huh, I don't remember that. But it's also when it first was shown on television. The first title of it was called Stranger in Our House. And since then, it's been billed as Summer of Fear, which is probably a better title, but Stranger in Our House was the original one. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't remember saying that. There's also one called, did I ever tell you one called When Michael Calls? There's one called When Michael Calls. That's a made for TV thing about a phone caller, voice dead people and stuff like that. And I don't really remember it much. I don't remember it much, but I remember it from when I was a child. It was kind of spooky. I don't know anything about this. I didn't know anything about this. That's interesting. What's everyone's cutoff for a concert ticket price? I don't know. I really don't. It depends on the concert. I don't know. Probably $200. It depends. Like if Paul is playing, I'll spend $200 for a seat. But $200 is my cutoff. But I don't go to many concerts, so it doesn't matter. I can go 5 years without a concert. So if I pay $200 for one seat every 5 years, I could deal with that. Okay, Beetle Babe is keeping up with our horror reviews over at Beetle Babe's channel. Halloween content. Poor Linda Blair. Since Exorcist, she's been tagged with every mistake imaginable. There's also a movie, I don't know, it's not a horror movie, but it's called Born Innocent. I don't know if you know that one. It's one you might want to check out. Let's put it this way. Born Innocent was on TV. It's about Linda Blair as a teenager that goes to a girls' prison, and she gets attacked by other girls there. And there was a broomstick sequence that was actually aired on TV, and I saw it. And back in the day, that was notoriously one of the most controversial and impossibly aired. You couldn't believe they had that on TV. I think I like them much better than Empire of the Ants. I've never seen all. I'm more familiar with them than Empire of the Ants. Let's put it that way. I'm not that familiar with Empire of the Ants. Yeah, sure. No, I don't know about that. I've never spent that much. I don't know. I every time people when there's a Paul concert, people talk about how bad priced seats are. I've never paid that much for them. I've never paid more than like 200. You can get nosebleeds for in the hundred and something, I believe, but it depends. If Paul was doing a show and I had a chance to get front row tickets one time for like I don't know $600, and I happened to come into like an inheritance or something. I had some money, and I was like I had extra spare money. It depends. It's all relative. It's all relative. Paul charges more for the West Coast. Okay, yeah, we could figure that out. Well, I really appreciate, again, I appreciate folks that there's movie talk here, not just Beatles and not just music. Um, that's why I wonder, I still would like to do chats like this, Q&As by just me over on my movie channel, which is called Mayo's Offbeat Movies. Check it out. And yeah, Wicker Man, the Wicker Man, again, we got to be talking about the Christopher Lee one. That's the Wicker Man you want to see, Christopher Lee. Hello, Henry. What's going on? Um, let's see. James paid $200 for Paul at Yankee Stadium in 2011. Yeah, I saw him in Yankee Stadium in 2011. I don't remember what I paid, but it was probably around that. Didn't you see Paul when he still had his voice in the early 90s from like 6 feet away? Who cares where you sit now? You got the experience. I was thinking that, Peter. I was actually thinking that. I didn't say it, but it's true. It's like ridiculous. I got to see Paul for free. Yeah, I won tickets. And yeah, I was like 6 feet away from Paul. And I keep telling everybody, people like to say like, "Oh, I got to see Paul. I was in the third row or the fifth row or the 10th row or even the first row." The stage is. I can't do it. The stage is here, and you're like, I can't even do this. And you're like, the first row is like back here. You know, it's still far. It's not. Nothing beats going right up to the stage like this. And that's how I used to see Joan Jett so much. You know. Yeah, Nick Cage version. I've never seen. I wouldn't see it. I heard it was silly. The highest ever paid for Liza Minnelli tickets was about $400, but that included dinner as part of it, so it seemed okay. Well, I talked about this a few times. Every time I talk about my movie channel, I do mention this. No, it doesn't mean I can't talk about mainstream movies. I do. Don't take it so literally. This channel here is me, Mr. Mayo, as in me, Mr. Mustard. It's mainly Beatles that I talk about, but I do other things besides Beatles. So even though I call it Mayo's Offbeat Movies, it's like Offbeat Movies is my specialty. But as I've said many times, and I guess I'll continue to say, mainstream movies will be there too. That's the word I'll use, mainstream movies. I said, I leave it in this chat. I've said I also do comedy, drama, action, westerns, you know. So it's not just that. What's the worst remake? Psycho. I saw Psycho. That was a piece of crap. Planet of the Apes. It was from 2001. That's one of the worst remake. What's a reboot really? It's not a remake. The Westworld television series. You know, I only saw the first episode. It was horrific. The whole show seems horrific. Um, there you go. Well, that wasn't my first name. My first name, I think, was just Mayo's Movies, and then I had Mayo's Marquee. I had Mayo After Dark, which that was also to kind of like talk about that I watch movies after after it gets dark. You watch movies. You know, it's because at nighttime you watch movies, and in particular horror movies. Double entendre. But a lot of people told me that reminded them of Playboy After Dark, or Porn Channel. And then there was other things too. I had Dial M for Mayo. I had a lot of things. I was going to see that, but because it's 3.5 hours or whatever the heck it is, 3.5 hours or something, I'm not. I don't think I'm going to go to the movie theater to see it. I just don't care enough to see it. If I see that, I may wind up catching it on a home video, But I don't think that I'm going to go to the theater for that. You know, what is it? What is this that you have? Oh, ticket. He's got his ticket for Thursday. Flowers, Oculus of the Flower. I mean, then again, let me backtrack on that a little bit. I am retired, right? And I'm looking for things to do in the afternoons. So maybe I'll go by myself to see it. But my girlfriend said she wants to see it, so I don't know. I was thinking maybe I could just hang out one day in the afternoon and go to a matinee and see it. What the heck? But it's a movie that I would like to see, but I don't know if I would go nuts trying to see it. It's amazing. Here I am doing this, and we got Tom and Yanni here, Beetle Babe. Maybe they could have come up on screen if I would have done a regular. I could have done a regular live stream, with people. But who knows? And in fact, if you want to come up, I guess I could do that. Nobody says that I can't have people up here. But Tom would have to be. I don't know. It's early. Got to be early where he is. And Jen, I could end this stream and start another Astro Zombie set. I could do that, but it depends on. It's early where Jen is too. Yeah, it is early. That's true. What is it? 6 o'clock in the morning over there? Or seven? 6:20 or 7:20? Yeah. Tom has more moving. Yeah, Tom's moving. He's been moving, trying to get settled in. Uh, I gotta say that Lila comes up with some interesting questions. Would you say you've watched more bad films than good? That's interesting. There are probably more bad films than good. I don't know about that. I'd say maybe they're even. I don't know. I've um, never seen Mulholland Drive and Blue Velvet. No. Good morning, Penny Lane. You're in my ears and in my eyes. Glad you showed up. I want a chance to say good morning to you. Oh, sure. I walked out on a movie in the cinema called Wired, which was a John Belushi documentary, make the life of John Belushi bio film or something. It was terrible. I walked out on it. I think I walked out on Raising Arizona, believe it or not. I don't remember why. There might have been other films, but that's the only ones that I remember. Oh, I switched off the movie Renfield. I watched Renfield. I got through the first 15 minutes. I hated the first 15 minutes so much. I'm like, I see where this is going. I'm not interested. I shut it off. Okay, Beetle Babe. We're looking forward to that day. Good morning to Eric. What's going on? Yes, I do like the classic Walt Disney films, animated films. Funny though, I don't have any. Never own any. I can live without them, but I like them. All that stuff. I don't know. Pinocchio, Snow White, Cinderella, Dumbo, Bambi, Lady and the Tramp. I like all that stuff. Are there any TV shows made before you were born that you discovered and liked? Many. The Honeymooners, I Love Lucy. Um, those are, well, many I say, but those are only two I'm thinking of. But of course, there are other ones. Got to be other ones. Been watching your old Elvis album reviews, waiting for more Elvis movie reviews. Also hoping we review a date with Elvis LP. But I think you asked me about this, I think yesterday, Harold, somebody did. Like I said, I have no plans to make any Elvis album review videos, but I'm not going to say never. I'm not saying I'm never going to do it. As the mood strikes me, one day I may get on another Elvis kick. And when I do, I'll review some more albums. But a date with Elvis, yeah, maybe I could talk about that. As far as the movies go, I think I was saying that, you know, first, I've been switching the Elvis movie reviews, keeping them here at this channel because it's Elvis and there's music people. So I keep the Elvis here. Then I'm moving Elvis over to my movie channel. So I don't know. I'll keep changing them. I put the Elvis on Mr. Mayo. The movies I'm talking about, the Elvis movies, I move back and forth. But I'm going to be doing. Somebody asked me to do more. Was Nicolas Cage as Dracula the reason Renfield was terrible? Well, I talked a lot about that before, Henry. I just thought that no, it was just too. It was too stupid. The phony CGI, too stupid. And I think Nicolas Cage as Dracula didn't really fit. Having said that, though, I think that that was the least reason. I mean, that was the least of the reasons that I didn't like it. It was mostly because how stupid it was and bad effects and that stuff. I've been seeing the commercials. I want very much to see the new Frasier show. I've been through this before. My girlfriend loves Frasier. She'd like to see it too, but neither one of us wants to invest in getting Paramount Plus and this and that. But having said that, I believe somebody told me it's also available on, I forget what other channel it was that was free channel. But even if it's free, I don't want to go through all this stuff of, give me this, give me that, go in there, change things, order this, order that, set this up, set that up, app. I just like to I like to do this. A new show. What channel is it on? CBS, ABC, NBC. Click. That's what we did. That's what we used to do. Regular broadcast TV, no big deal. Um, I don't know, but I do want to see it. Okay. Oh yeah, Twilight Zone. I love the Twilight Zone, but Some of the episodes were before I was born, some of them were not. Okay, Paul Naschy. Actually, I met Paul Naschy. I got a really good photograph with him, a picture taken with him. Yeah, and you're having trouble finding two werewolf movies. You know where I could find them if you're familiar with Naschy. I am somewhat familiar with Paul Naschy and his horror movies. Um, but the thing is, and it's the werewolf movies too, but they have different titles and they have different releases. Some of them are region free, some of them are special regions, discs. It gets crazy where to find the best copies of his movies. I have a bunch of them though. The movies you really loved and then hated after watching again, or hated it first and ended up loving it. Yes, in both cases. I wish I could think of examples. Hmm. I won't say I didn't hate. I didn't hate Kill Bill Volume 2, but when I saw Kill Bill Volume 2, I was disappointed because I was expecting it to be like Volume 1, and then I watched it another, like, I kept watching it and I loved it. Now Kill Bill Volume 2 is one of my favorite of all, you know. And as far as loving and then hating, I won't say I hate it, but I really loved the movie An Officer and a Gentleman with Richard Gere. And I loved that movie. And then I just like one day it hit me. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm kind of tired of it. Kind of don't hate it, but I don't need to ever see it again. Kind of thing. I have no interest in reimaginings of the Disney movies. None. I just have no interest. I don't like most of that stuff. Okay, it was Pluto TV. I mean, if I have a remote, I have Tubi. If I turn on the remote on the TV and it says, I have Disney Plus and whatever else and Tubi. If it's on there, I'll watch it. If it's not, I'm not going to go crazy trying to figure out. You shouldn't have to figure out how to get a service or how to get a show. It should just be on regular broadcast TV. That's how I feel about it. I think the reason John was overly opinionated of Sergeant Pepper and Abbey Road was because Pepper was Paul's album, Abbey Road was George and Paul's album. John simply lost interest by that point. I don't think John had lost interest by Sergeant Pepper. I don't believe that. I don't think John lost interest in Sergeant Pepper. No, I think he was still into it. And I think he was still into the White Album period too. It was after that. It's only really Get Back and Abbey Road, really. And so what? I don't care. John's allowed to have his interests. He was more interested in Yoko than him doing their thing. And that's okay. Yeah, yes, I know the movie Freaks, and there's a new release of it out by Criterion. I'm going to buy the Criterion version, but I'm not going to do it until it's cheap, 50% off or whatever it is. And then I'll get it. I just think Freaks is kind of overrated, because I don't know. I was obviously more intense for people to watch in the 1930s than it is today. Uh, okay. Well, first of all, Lycanthropo, I think that's one of Paul Naschy's last werewolf films. I think. As far as La Marca del Hombre Lobo, that's his first movie, The Mark of the Werewolf, 1968, I think it is. Now, you must know that's available as Frankenstein's Bloody Terror. I don't know if it had a totally different title by Sam Sherman that had nothing to do with werewolves. It was called Frankenstein's Bloody Terror, and it's available you can find it on regular DVD. But the original cut, La Marca del Hombre Lobo, or the Spanish version of it, I don't know. I prefer Walls and Bridges to Mind Games personally, but Mind Games these days has definitely got a really good reputation. A lot of people are coming around to loving Mind Games. Do I like historical movies? Um, Not always. They're not really done well. Most of them are fabricated and stuff made up. Do I like spaghetti westerns? I haven't seen that many of them. Generally, I'm not thrilled with spaghetti Italian westerns. Ringo's Blind Man is interesting because Ringo's in it. And I got to tell you, I'm not a fan of the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm just not. I haven't seen the Black Friday list yet at all. Somebody I know, my friend Elliot, told me that there's nothing Beatles related on the list. I could, let me know if that's accurate or not. But I do know that Joan Jett is going to be putting out her new album called Mindsets. Mindsets is going to be on vinyl. Finally, going to get a chance to get a physical copy of that thing instead of it just being non-existent in downloading. You know, how can Eli Roth make a Thanksgiving horror movie? How would that work? What would it be about? It's about a killer on Thanksgiving, a slasher film, a killer who kills people with all kinds of Thanksgiving implements and Thanksgiving methods. I've already seen the trailer. Looks great. That's what they did. That's what they did in the slasher era. It's like a salute to the slasher era of the '80s. I mean, they had Christmas. They had Christmas killers. They had Valentine's Day killers. So different holidays. New Year's Day. There's a film called New Year's Evil. So this time they're going to make one called Thanksgiving, and the trailer looks good to me. I didn't see this film. It just didn't interest me. Didn't interest me. Hello, Ant. What's going on? A-N-T, Ant. It's not for everybody. Thanksgiving the movie is not for everybody. But people who like slasher films, you know. Yes, I've seen Black Christmas. Yeah, but I saw Black Christmas late in life. Like I think it came out in 1974. I didn't see it until like last year. And to tell you the truth, I don't think it's all that much. It's one of those movies that I think was more intense back in '74, but it's just not now. I just don't think so. No. Has the Brian Epstein movie rumor died down? I think it's going to happen. I still think it's going to happen. In fact, I don't think it's died down. I think it's kind of gone up a little bit that it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a reality, you know? So another slasher movie that I think is terrible and boring is Prom Night. I think they remade Prom Night as well. But Prom Night, the one with Jamie Lee Curtis, it just not a lot happens in it. It's funny. I've never seen any of those movies, even though I've seen all kinds of slasher films. I've never seen any of the Slumber Party Massacre movies. Favorite sci-fi and horror films? I don't know what you're asking me here. I uh, I like Dr. Caligari. I like Nosferatu. I've never seen those other ones. I don't really know what you're asking here. Oh, silent films. Okay. Favorite silent films. Yeah, Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera, The Man Who Laughs. Nosferatu, Caligari. Yeah, those are some of my favorite. favorites. Do you have a go-to comfort movie? Actually, I have a few, but the first one that comes to mind is actually a 1950s horror movie called Indestructible Man, with Lon Chaney Jr. as a killer that's electrocuted and comes back to life. You guys an invincible killer. And the thing is, the reason it's a comfort movie is because it's done in a style of like an old noir film. Okay, it's done like a dragnet. There's a dragnet and a noir feeling to it. And I kind of used to see that movie on TV a lot in the afternoons when I was a child. So anytime I watch Indestructible Man, it takes me back to those relaxing days. What's my favorite Three Stooges short? Very good question. I'm partial to the ones with Shemp. I just think you get away with more violence in those, funny stuff like that. I like stuff like one of my favorites is called Goof on the Roof when they try to fix a TV set. Another one I love, one of my favorites is with Shemp, and it's called Corny Casanovas. The three of them are again working around the house, fixing a couch and stuff, and get into trouble. But then they're all in love with the same girl. They don't know it, and stuff like that. I'm not really with Curly. I don't know. I like the Stooges later on. I don't like them in the 30s. I like them more in the 50s. Don't ask me why. Or late 40s. You know, I have other favorites too, but those are some of the ones that come to mind. Well, Henry, you say everyone gives Halloween credit for the slasher genre, but in reality, Texas Chainsaw Massacre should get that credit. Well, I go way ahead of you. I go to 1960 with Psycho. To me, Psycho is the first knife wielding slasher kind of movie, you know? So, good morning to Thomas Jean. You love horror. What's your favorite horror subgenre? Slasher, psychological thriller, possession, splatter film, etc. I don't know what you'd call it, but classic horror of the classic horror, not just Universal. Classic horror of the golden age of 1930s and 40s is my favorite. I don't know what you call that. Classic horror, I guess. 30s and 40s. Carlo Flagosi, Frankenstein, Dracula, the Universal movies, Invisible Man, Mummy. That stuff is my favorite of the horror. Do I like the Joe Besser era? I know most people can't stand Joe Besser. I actually like to watch those only because they're different again. It's not the same old Curly. Yeah, we know Curly's great, yada yada yada. Let's see something different, that kind of thing. Now, most of there's only 16 Joe Besser Stooges films, and most of them are not too good. I don't like the ones with a horse. They have one where the sister's reincarnated as a horse. A couple of those. But and there's some musicals and everything. But some of them are good with Joe Besser. Some of them are good. I'm trying to think of the titles of them. A Merry Mix-Up is a good one when you have like three pairs of brothers, all of them, nine of them, they all look the same. You can't tell them apart. And some other ones too. I just like them better older. I think Mo and Larry are funnier when instead of them being in their 30s, I think they're funnier when they're in their 50s. Monster movies. Yeah, I guess you could call them monster movies. I also like monster movies of the 50s too. Uh, yes, indeed. Universal, absolutely. Universal monsters. Yeah. Now, when you say Godzilla versus Kong, are you talking about the newer one? Because if you're talking about the newer one, I have a Blu-ray, but I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, the Stooges episode where they help the crook blow up the safe and Curly's in a cameo hold that line. I like that one too. And that one, as a matter of fact, that's one of my favorite ones. But I'm trying to think. I think it's called Booty and the Beast. You know, I like when they took some of the footage and reworked the footage later. Another one of my favorite ones is called Loose Loot. That's with Shemp, Loose Loot, and it starts out again where they're dealing with that guy Slip, Ichabod Slip, and then later on they wind up not on the train with Curly footage, but they escape to a theater, and there's a scene in a theater where they're you have to see it. It's crazy. They get into like a theater and they wind up going into be in the room when backstage, and they got Slip or whatever. This was his head stuck in the chair and the doorway. They're throwing stuff at his head and stuff. I mean, yeah, Stooges. Not familiar with that series. When you do your Mayo movie stream, you have a wall of movies behind you, not in your Beatle room. It's hard to do because I have to share the rooms. I have to have Beatles and movies in the same room right now. Hopefully, when we get a house that we're hoping to get, hopefully I'll have two rooms, one for movies, one for Beatles. Hopefully. Yeah, there's this Zombo episode of the Munsters and Louis Nye is in there. And you're wondering if he was patterned after Lon Chaney's London After Midnight. You're right. It does look a lot like Lon Chaney from London After Midnight. I don't know if that was a conscious thing or not. You're right. Yeah, Curly's final shorts are absolutely depressing. He was visibly sick and had trouble delivering the simplest lines. Unfortunately, that's why I like him. I mean, one of my favorites is Monkey Businessman. He's really like in bad shape in that, but I think that's a funny one. Hey Mo, hey Larry. I'm not trying to make fun of him. I just think it's funny. Have I seen Silence of the Lambs? I saw Silence of the Lambs in the movie theater. I thought it was no big deal to me. I know it's a big deal. It won Best Picture and all that, but eh. And as far as Hannibal Lecter, I never saw that one. No, I never did that. I know you can put green screen behind you and you can have a different background. Yes, it looks impressive, but I always find that when people move their heads, you see it break up, like digitize and stuff. It's not perfect, not perfected yet. Bridalist Groom is a good one with Shemp, but the problem with Bridalist Groom is it's one of those films that's been overblown, overseen because it's in the public domain. And for a long time, that was only one of the few ones that you could see. Same thing with Disorder in the Court with Curly. You got Disorder in the Court, Bridalist Groom, and the other one is Malice in the Palace. I will never, ever, ever, ever put any of my valuables in a basement. I will never do that because too many people have lost everything by floods and water. So I will never do that. I've never seen Nightmare Before Christmas. I have no interest in it. I know it's Tim Burton. There you go. That's exactly Beetle Baby nailed it. Exactly. Well, yeah, floods happen in New York too. Absolutely. I mean, I know people that have had problems. Anybody hear that? But I wouldn't be I wouldn't be having a house in New York anyway. We'd be going somewhere else to have a house. I was going to mention babysitters, jitters. That's a good one. Yeah, it's another good one. See, I like those kind of Stooges ones when they're pretty much, I call them domestic Stooges. They're just hanging out at home. trying to fix a house, trying to get a TV antenna put up, trying to paint a room. I like. I don't like when they're doing their knights in armor or they're in the Western days. I like them kind of like that. The Abbott and Costello horror films are fun. Of course, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is the best. And Hold That Ghost is also good. Those are two of the best. Hold That Ghost and Meet Frank. The other ones are okay. Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Meet the Invisible Man, and Meet the Mummy are okay. But what's the closest I came to feeling a weird presence or ghost, even if you don't believe? You know, it's hard. I mean, these things have happened, but again, I hate so much that I can't remember them right off the cuff. Um, I don't know. I think they've happened. Do I like Alfred Hitchcock movies? I haven't seen nearly all of them. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? The Birds is my favorite. Frenzy, Psycho, Rope, uh, Dial M for Murder. The one that I keep forgetting, The Shadow of a Doubt. Um, yeah, Strangers on a Train. I've been to Pennsylvania, but I won't be moving there. Yeah, I know. There's actually some photos of this scene. I know the scene you mean. Yeah, Curly was used and it was cut, but there are photos. There's at least one photo that I've seen. Did I ever go to a film that got terrible reviews and I loved it? I'm sure I have too, but I can't remember it. Mostly, it's not that I saw the reviews were bad and went anyway and liked it, but usually later on I find the reviews like The Happening. Like I really like the movie The Happening, M. Night Shyamalan, and I really like that movie. And then everybody hates it. That's one, but there's got to be other ones. Yeah, The Birds is going to be in the theaters again on October 22nd. I saw it already. You know, they already brought that back to family events. I went to see it a few years ago, so this is not the first time. Yeah, for some reason, I've never really watched the Alfred Hitchcock Presents show. I don't know why. Best experience in the theater, movies you went to see and actually walked out loving the film. The Omega Man as a child, The Westworld as a child, Jaws, The Exorcist. You know, these are movies that I saw and came out loving. I couldn't get them out of my head. It's like, wow, you know, it's really amazing movies. American Graffiti, you know, so and there's many others too. I don't believe in ghosts either. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people listening to me do. But you know, I don't know what to say, you know. I guess that's because I've never had an experience. I don't want to have an experience unless it's a pleasant one. But I know other people believe in there. Yes, Lord Prager. Yes, Hangover Square, the larger. Yes, I have those on DVD. Those are good. I saw them a long time ago. Yeah, that's another one that's good. All gummed up. Absolutely. A drugstore, the event of Fountain of Youth. Absolutely. And there's a remake of that where they do it over again. And there's a scene in there at the end where see it all gummed up. They give the Fountain of Youth potion to somebody and turns into a little baby, a crying baby. But there's another version later on where they use the footage, but they change the ending, where they give the same guy the Fountain of Youth, and he turns into a gorilla. And he's called a big gorilla. He takes Mo upside down and bangs his head against the floor. And then he turns Mo over. Mo's got like a flat head like Frankenstein. Yeah. We're not allowed to strike in the USA. When I was a mailman, we were not allowed to strike. What happened was, I believe, in 1971, there was a huge post office strike, and the country went to pieces, and they had to call in, I don't know, the army. The army had to come in. Military had to deliver the mail. They were like, they couldn't do it. They didn't know how to do it. And ever since then, we're not allowed to strike, which is a damn shame because you can't, if you can't strike, you can't get anything. Favorite B werewolf movie? Good question. I Was a Teenage Werewolf is one of my favorite B movie werewolves. There's another movie from 1956. It's just simply called The Werewolf, and that's another good one. I actually was surprised that I got a kick out of the rebooted Three Stooges. I do not like. Sorry, I do not like an American Werewolf. That's the kind of movie I'm talking about when I say it's a horror movie. They take it as a joke. They don't take it seriously. They're gonna be funny. They're gonna be cutesy. They gotta make fun. Okay, is that better? I don't know what I last said, but if you heard me, I don't know. But I was saying with an American Werewolf in London. Is it better yet? Let me know. Okay. Yeah, American Werewolf in London. That's the kind of horror movie that I hate when they rather than present it serious or straight, they feel they got to make a joke. They got to kind of make it tongue in cheek. They got to make it funny. They got to make it a parody of itself, and that's the reason I don't like that. Having said that, back in 1981, the werewolf transformation was really, really good. Three Stooges movies. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. I mean, I like Have Rocket Will Travel. That's their first feature movie that I like. I think I like Three Stooges Meet Hercules, and I think I like, if I remember, The Outlaws is Coming, which is a western. But most of them I did not like. I didn't like Three Stooges in Orbit, and I really did not like Snow White and the Three Stooges. What makes you like Young Frankenstein if you don't like parody horror films? Henry, this is why I had trouble with you before because I've mentioned this a million times. But anyway, because Young Frankenstein is a complete comedy spoof send up. Maybe I shouldn't have used the word parody. What I don't like is when you take a regular horror movie and make it stupid. You know what I'm trying? The difference There's a difference between when you say I'm going to make it an all-out comedy. It's going to be a comedy parody uh, satire, and another film that's just supposed to be a horror movie, but it's kind of stupid. That's the difference. I would like to be neither one, but I guess I'd pick a vampire. Yes, that's true. The actors were very good, especially the actor who played Mo in that movie, and I can't remember who that was. Yes, the Stooges definitely have children and relatives that are still living, grandchildren. Okay, coming up close, 85 minutes. We're gonna try to do at least 90 minutes. Maybe I'll go after that. We'll knock this off around 90 minutes, I guess. If anybody has any questions, comments. Oops. We rarely have a white Christmas here too. Thank God. Let's keep it that way. I don't need snow. I hate snow. Now, don't get me wrong. For Christmas, if you could have just a light dusting, just a light coating, just a light little coating, just to make everything look white, that's nice. But I don't need no big giant snow drifts and snowstorms, you know? Uh, yes, I've seen Dr. Caligari. Yes, indeed. Yep, I have it. Yes, Mo wrote a book on the Stooges. It's called Mo Howard and the Three Stooges. That's the name of it. And he tells a lot of stories. Some people think Mo Howard fabricated a lot of things. I don't know. I think it's a good book. How do I decide when to have a surprise live stream? It's just whenever I feel like it. Just if I feel get the urge to do it. That's really the only reason. Um, do I watch Curly's grandson? Sometimes. Yeah, he's on YouTube, and yeah, they're like a bunch of stooges. Yeah, I watch that once in a while on YouTube, and I don't know. I enjoy it sometimes. Sometimes I think they go a little too far as like they're really protective of the rights, the Stooges' rights. They jump right on anything. How do I like my curry? What does that mean? It's funny. I know that back in the day when I was like way thinner than I am now, I used to watch. I didn't have any sugar, and I didn't have any bread, any white flour. I used to go to the Chinese restaurant and get curry chicken with curry sauce on it, because it was like it wasn't sugar. It was something different. Do I think zoos are cruel? You mean in general? Just I don't think zoos are cruel. As far as having animals shown, it might be another matter if you have somebody behind the scenes if they mistreat animals. That's a different story. I would not see the 2010 Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is Robin England. Nobody else can play Freddy Krueger. It's Robin England, period. And you say he's more serious than comedic in that movie, okay, but he's also he's serious in the original Wes Craven 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street. So he's serious in there too. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't feel the same as other people do about this. Like I say, I don't believe in, you know, overly abusing cruel pain and treatment of animals, but having them in aquariums and zoos, sorry, no problem with that. I don't know. Some of those dolphins seem genuinely happy to me. And I went to an aquarium last March, and we saw seals, trained seals, sea lions, and they seem so happy and cheerful. I don't know. Oh, Brett, I'm coming to the end here, folks. I'm going to kind of pull the plug for this one. Thank you all for watching. I want to do some plugging here again. I want to say that tomorrow night, Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing Talk More Talk, where we're going to discuss Ringo's new EP. All of us, the four of us, will discuss Rewind Forward. Check it out. That's 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern live over at Talk More Talk. And I'm going to do another one of these Q&As. This time, my next one will be Saturday. That's right. I'll be putting up the ad for it, thumbnail. It'll be Saturday. It'll be the afternoon. Saturday afternoon, another one of these. All right. So that's about it, I think, for now. All right. Good to talk to you all. Thank you all for being here. And I will see you very soon. Cheers.